Welcome to the shadow frequency, where the veil between this world and the next grows thin, and the things that whisper in the dark are given voice. From the cryptic candlelit studios, deep in the Indiana forests, your host, Matt Wilson, and his spectral producer, Juniper Ravenwood, unearth the forbidden, the forgotten, and the fearsome. So, still your heart, dim the light, and listen closely. For once you tune into the shadow frequency, you may never tune out.
Matt, what are you watching on the TV?
Oh, this? It's an old 1960s UFO documentary I found buried in that stack of tapes behind the file cabinet. Look at this, grainy stock footage, ominous narration, the whole deal.
That's great, really. Love your dedication to the craft, but maybe you could finish your research after the podcast?
Why? What's wrong with just watching it now? Oh, right, yeah. Sorry, my bad. Carry on.
I swear, that guy does not have a clue. If it wasn't for me, this podcast would be 20 minutes of him eating pizza rolls and belching into a microphone. Let's see what's in here. Oh, for the love of... Matt, why are there so many pizza place menus in here? This drawer looks like an archaeological dig site of a hungry cryptid.
Because I love pizza.
No.
You never know when inspiration or hunger is going to strike.
Well, maybe keep the pepperoni out of the paranormal archive. Let's see, what else? Oh, there's that thing again. More socks. Here we go. Tonight's episode file, episode 238, Kaspar Hauser, the boy outside of time.
There it is, the mystery kid who walked out of nowhere claiming he'd lived in the dark his whole life. This one's wild, folks.
And confusing and creepy. And depending on who you ask, possibly supernatural.
Or extraterrestrial, or a time anomaly, or
someone who definitely didn't grow up on pizza menus anyway. Let's get into it.
Yeah, lights down, mics on. This is The Shadow Frequency, episode 238, Kaspar Hauser, the boy outside of time.
You are tuned to the shadow frequency, where every whisper tells a story from beyond the veil. Hosted by Matt Wilson, produced by Juniper Ravenwood, with Chris Beach. The darkness continues.
Nuremberg, 1828. The city hums with the clatter of horse-drawn carts, the murmur of merchants, and the weight of secrets buried in its ancient stones. On a quiet spring evening, the boy stumbles into the town square, barely 16, eyes wide as if seeing the world for the first time. He clutches a letter written in two hands, neither his own. He speaks in fragments, moves like a marionette with cut strings, and recoils from the sun as though it burns his soul. This is Kaspar Hauser, a living enigma who claims he was raised in a void, a dark cell where time itself forgot to flow. Tonight, we descend into the abyss of his story, where the boundaries of reality blur and the question lingers: was Kaspar a prisoner of man, or something far older, far stranger?
Oh, Juniper, you've cracked open a file that's been gathering dust in the darkest corner of the cabinet.
Yeah.
A boy outside of time? I'm already getting chills. Tonight, we're stepping into Kaspar's shadow, where every tick of the clock feels wrong.
Buckle up, listeners. Matt's about to guide us through a riddle that's haunted historians, occultists, and truth seekers for nearly 2 centuries. Over to you, Matt.
Thanks for digging into the file cabinet, Juniper. That one was buried deep, and for good reason. Let's open the file on Kaspar Hauser, the boy who materialized in Nuremberg like a ghost stepping out of a dream. It's May 26, 1828, and the city is alive with the bustle of post-Napoleonic Germany. Cobblestone streets wind past Gothic spires, and the air carries the scent of fresh bread and coal smoke. Into this world staggers a teenage boy, roughly 16, dressed in ill-fitting clothes, a patched coat, boots that don't quite match, and a crumpled hat clutched in trembling hands. He's holding a letter, addressed to a cavalry captain, but the words inside are a puzzle. One part written in formal hand claiming the boy was left on the author's doorstep in 1812, another part scrawled in a childish script supposedly Kaspar's own, though he can barely form sentences. The boy himself? He's a blank slate. He speaks in monotone fragments. Kaspar Hauser, don't know, horse, want to be, and his eyes dart like he's seeing light for the first time. Witnesses say he flinched at the sun, as if the warmth was an alien sensation, and stared at shadows like they were alive, pulsing with secrets. The authorities take him in, assuming he's a vagrant or a simpleton, but Kaspar's presence ripples through Nuremberg like a stone dropped in still water. He walks with a stiff, unnatural gait, his knees unaccustomed to bending, as if his body had forgotten how to move freely. When offered bread and water, he devours the bread but recoils from the water, insisting it's black and bitter, though it's clear as glass. He's fascinated by fire, staring into candle flames for hours, his face illuminated with a childlike wonder that belies his teenage frame. But the most unnerving detail? Kaspar has no sense of time. Clocks baffle him. The concept of yesterday or tomorrow draws a blank stare. He describes his life before Nuremberg as a single endless moment, a dark cell, no bigger than a horse stall, with straw for a bed, and a wooden toy horse as his only companion. Food appeared while he slept, left by an unseen hand. His hair was cut, his nails trimmed, all without his knowledge. He claims he never saw another human until the day a man in black led him out, handed him the letter, and abandoned him on the road to Nuremberg. This wasn't just isolation, listeners. This was a life unmoored from the very fabric of reality, a voice suspended in a void where time didn't just pass, it ceased to exist. Doctors and scholars flock to examine him, but what they find only deepens the mystery. Kaspar's senses are razor sharp in some ways, dulled in others. He can hear a whisper across a room, but screams at the touch of silk, as if textures are knives against his skin. His eyes, a pale blue, seem to pierce through objects, yet he struggles to name colors, calling the sky white and grass black. His bones are oddly smooth, his joints unusually flexible, as if his body grew without the wear of normal life. One physician notes that his legs show no calluses, no scars from childhood scrapes, nothing to suggest he ever walked outdoors before that fateful day. Kaspar's mind is a labyrinth of gaps. He recalls the cell vividly, but can't say how long he was there. Years? Decades? To him, it's all one eternal now. When asked about his parents, he shakes his head, not in refusal, but in genuine confusion, as if the concept of family is a foreign language. The townspeople whisper that he's a changeling, a soul swapped by forces beyond the veil. Occultists lurking in Nuremberg's shadowed taverns murmur of darker possibilities. Kaspar as a subject of an alchemical experiment, his consciousness tethered to a liminal space where time bends and fractures. The political class has their own theories. Nuremberg is a city of intrigue, caught between fading aristocracies and rising bureaucracies. Rumors swirl that Kaspar is a lost prince, hidden away to protect or eliminate a royal bloodline. The letter mentions a noble house, and his refined features, high cheekbones, delicate hands, fuel speculation. Could he be the heir to Baden, stashed away by rivals to keep him from the throne? But the paranormal whispers grow louder. Kaspar's inability to grasp time isn't just ignorance, it's unnatural. He reacts to the tolling of church bells with panic, covering his ears as if the sound is a physical assault. When shown a calendar, he traces the days with his finger, muttering, "All the same, all the same." Some say he was raised in a sensory deprivation chamber, his mind deliberately stunted to serve some arcane purpose. Others go further, suggesting he was kept in a temporal stasis, a pocket of existence where hours, years, centuries collapse into a single point. Imagine, listeners, A child growing older in body but not in time. His memories erased by a force that defies physics itself. Kaspar Hauser wasn't just locked away, he was unmade, then remade, dropped into our world like a glitch in the universe's code. And then come the attacks. In 1829, a year after his arrival, Kaspar is found bleeding in a cellar, a deep gash across his forehead. He claims a man in black, the same figure who brought him to Nuremberg, returned, whispering,
"You must die before you leave the city."
The wound is precise, deliberate, but no culprit is found. Kaspar recovers, but his behavior grows stranger. He begins sketching symbols in the dirt, spirals, crosses, shapes that resemble no known alphabet. He speaks of dreams where he floats above Nuremberg, watching himself wander the streets, as if his soul is detached from his body. The second attack comes in 1833, and it's fatal. Lured to a garden by a stranger promising answers about his origin, Kaspar is stabbed in the chest. A coded message written in mirror script is found nearby, its meaning lost to history. His dying words are cryptic. "I know him, but not from here." The grave marker erected in his honor sums it up. A riddle of his time, his birth was unknown, his death mysterious. Kaspar Hauser slips back into the void, leaving us to wonder, was he a victim of human cruelty or something far more cosmic? A boy raised outside the flow of hours, his very existence a tear in the fabric of time itself. Juniper, I'm still reeling from Kaspar's story. It's like he was a ghost in his own life, haunting a world that didn't know how to hold him.
Matt, I've got goosebumps. The idea of a kid trapped in a timeless void, it's the stuff of nightmares.
Yeah.
What's coming in the second half?
Stick with me, listeners. We're diving deeper into the shadows of Kaspar's enigma, and maybe, just maybe, we'll find a crack of doubt in the mystery. Juniper, take us to the break.
Wow, listeners, Kaspar Hauser's story is like stepping into a fever dream where time itself unravels. Matt's painted a picture of a boy who didn't just lose his past, he might have lost the very concept of time. What do you think so far? Is Kaspar a tragic orphan, a political pawn, or something not entirely human? We're about to plunge back into the mystery, but first let's hear from Chris Beach.
Sure, Juniper. Quick reminder, folks. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Follow the Shadow Frequency on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and any podcast app you use. Our home base is shadowfrequencypodcast.com. You can stream every episode there, read our new Shadow blog posts, grab some paranormal merch, and even drop us a voicemail. Let us know where you're listening from, and we just might play it on an upcoming show. And if you're enjoying what we do and want to help out, consider buying us a coffee. We truly appreciate the support. Back over to Juniper.
Thank you, Chris. All right, time to fire up the spectral cosmic message materializer, flipping the switches, cranking the dials, letting the ether crackle. There it is, a faint glow in the static, a message slipping through the void, curling like smoke.
Message retrieved from the void.
All right, let's peel it open and see what one of you shadow dwellers has to say. This one's from George M. in Yakima, Washington. Hey, Matt and Juniper, just wanted to send a note from out here in Yakima. Most nights after dinner, I like to sit out on my front porch with a cup of coffee, watch the hills fade into the darkness, and catch up on Shadow Frequency. There's something about the cool Washington air and the sound of the crickets that makes your stories hit just a little harder. I listen on Pandora. It's become part of my nightly routine at this point. I've been going back through some of the older episodes. In episode 208, The Curse of Chickie's Rock really stuck with me. The way you two unraveled that mix of folklore, tragedy, and weird shadow figures gave me chills. I swear I kept glancing out toward the tree line after that one. Anyway, just wanted to say thanks for keeping the nights interesting out here. You've got a fam for as long as you're digging through the haunted file cabinet, listening from the shadows, George M. George, you're making me want to grab a coffee and stare into the Washington dust myself. Episode 208 was a wild one. Those shadow figures still creep me out. Thanks for tuning in on Pandora and keeping the porch light on for us. Listeners, you can sing your own tales or thoughts to shadowpodcast@protonmail.com. Matt, the shadows are calling. Take us back into Kaspar's riddle.
You are tuned to the shadow frequency, where every whisper tells a story from beyond the veil. The darkness continues.
Thanks, Juniper, and a big shout out to George and Yakima. Sounds like you've got the perfect setup for a shadow frequency night. All right, listeners, let's step back into the eerie world of Kaspar Hauser, where line between human and otherworldly feels paper thin. We left off with Kaspar's mysterious death in 1833, a stabbed chest, a coded message, and a grave that calls him a riddle of his time. But the story doesn't end with his blood soaking the garden soil. Kaspar's 5 years in Nuremberg were a cascade of anomalies that defy explanation. And the deeper you look, the more the paranormal possibilities claw their way to the surface. Let's retrace his steps, peel back the layers, and confront the chilling question: was Kaspar Hauser a boy stolen from the world, or stolen from time itself? When Kaspar first arrived, the people of Nuremberg were captivated, then unnerved. He was placed under the care of Friedrich Dahmer, a scholar who became both guardian and observer. Dahmer's journals, preserved in dusty archives, describe Kaspar's behavior in haunting detail. The boy would sit for hours, staring at a single object, a spoon, a button, as if decoding its purpose. Light was his obsession and his torment. Candles mesmerized him, but the sunlight overwhelmed him, forcing him to shield his eyes or retreat indoors. Dahmer noted that Kaspar's skin was unnaturally pale, almost translucent, with veins visible like rivers under ice. His sense of smell was acute to the point of pain. The scent of flowers made him weep, while the odor of leather sent him into a panic. These weren't the quirks of a feral child, as some assumed. Feral children raised by animals or in extreme neglect show patterns, scars, calluses, instinctive behaviors. Kaspar had none. His feet were soft, his hands uncalloused, his body unmarked by the world. One doctor examining his knees found them pristine, as if he'd never crawled, walked, or fallen. This wasn't just isolation, listeners. This was a body preserved, a mind unetched by the passage of years. The temporal disconnect is where the story turns truly sinister. Kaspar's inability to understand time wasn't mere confusion, it was absolute. When Dahmer tried to teach him the days of the week, Kaspar traced circles in the air, muttering, "Round, round, always round." Seasons meant nothing to him. He called snow white grass, and couldn't grasp why it vanished. Clocks were incomprehensible machines, their ticking a source of dread. He once smashed a pocket watch, screaming that it was eating the day. Paranormal researchers centuries later would latch onto this detail, proposing that Kaspar was raised in a controlled environment, a chamber where light, sound, and time were manipulated. Some whisper of early experiments in sensory deprivation, precursors to the CIA's MK Ultra programs, where subjects were stripped of external stimuli to fracture their perception. Others go further, suggesting Kaspar was held in a temporal anomaly, a place where time didn't flow linearly. Imagine a cell outside the universe's clock, where a boy could age 16 years while the world spun on without him. His emergence in 1828 wasn't an escape, it was a release, a deliberate act by forces that wanted him found, watched, studied. The political theories add fuel to the fire, but even they take on a paranormal tint. The rumor that Kaspar was a Baden prince hidden to secure a rival's claim is compelling but incomplete. Why would a royal heir be raised in such a bizarre condition? Why erase his sense of time, his memory of self? Occult circles in 19th century Germany had their own answers. Secret societies, steeped in Rosicrucian and alchemical lore, saw Kaspar as a tabula rasa, a blank soul, purified by isolation, ready to be imprinted with esoteric knowledge. Some claimed he was part of a ritual, a human vessel kept in a liminal state, to commune with entities beyond the veil. His uncanny senses, his ability to see in near darkness, to hear footsteps blocks away, lent credence to these ideas. One witness swore Kaspar predicted a storm hours before clouds gathered, describing black threads weaving through the sky. Another claimed he spoke in his sleep, in a language no one recognized, his voice echoing as if from a great distance. These weren't the delusions of a traumatized boy. They were signs, listeners, of a consciousness touched by something outside the human experience. Now let's pause for a moment of skepticism, because even in the shadows, we have to shine a light on the other side. Some historians argue Kaspar was a fraud, or at least a pawn in someone else's scheme. The letter he carried, with its two handwriting styles, could have been a forgery, crafted to spark intrigue. His injuries, the forehead gash, the fatal stab, might have been self-inflicted, a bid for attention from a boy desperate to stay in the spotlight. Medical records show he had liver issues, possibly from poor nutrition, which could explain his pallor and frailty. His sharp senses might have been heightened by adrenaline, his fear of light and sound a symptom of sensory overload after years of confinement. The simplest explanation? Kaspar was a victim of extreme neglect, locked away by a cruel family or opportunist, his mind stunted by a lack of stimulation. His temporal confusion could stem from a complete absence of routine, no days, no nights, just an endless cycle of sleep and waking. This theory is tidy, grounded, human, but here's the problem. It doesn't account for the precision of his condition. No scars, no muscle atrophy, no linguistic roots to trace. Even a neglected child leaves traces on the world, and the world leaves traces on them. Kaspar was a void shaped by absence itself. The attacks, the coded message, the dying words, they push us back into the paranormal. The man in black who haunted Kaspar's life appears too often to be a coincidence. Was he a guardian, ensuring Kaspar stayed silent? A handler, retrieving an experiment gone wrong? Or something older, a shadow tied to the cell, the stasis, the timeless dark? Kaspar's death in the garden feels staged, almost ritualistic. The mirror script message, the promise of answers, the single precise wound. It's as if he was silenced before he could reveal what he knew. In paranormal circles today, Kaspar is a touchstone for theories of time displacement. Some say he was a traveler, pulled from one timeline and dropped into another, his memories scrambled by the journey. Others see him as a prototype, a human test subject for technologies or magics that manipulate consciousness. His grave, marked with that haunting epitaph, stands as a monument to the unanswerable. Kaspar Hauser wasn't just a mystery, he was a fracture in reality, a boy who lived outside the hours we all take for granted, and whose story warns us time is fragile, and some doors once opened can never be closed. Juniper, Kaspar's story leaves me staring at the clock, wondering if it's telling the truth. Was he a prince, a pawn, or a glitch in time? I don't think we'll ever know.
Matt, I'm officially rattled.
Yeah.
A boy outside of time?
Mm-hmm.
That's a nightmare I didn't sign up for.
Hang with us, listeners. Kaspar's riddle is closed for now, but the shadows never stop whispering. Juniper, take us home.
What a journey into the unknown. Tonight we follow Kaspar Hauser, the boy who stepped out of a timeless void and into a world that couldn't comprehend him. From his sudden appearance in Nuremberg to his cryptic death, his story is a labyrinth of mystery, politics, and paranormal possibility. Thanks for joining us in the Shadows, listeners. If you got a tale to share or a theory about Kaspar, send it to shadowpodcast@protonmail.com, and you can find our website, of course, at shadowfrequencypodcast.com. All right, we'll be back next time with another case to keep you up at night. Matt, you want to say goodnight?
Good night, shadow dwellers. Keep your clocks close and your eyes on the dark.
Until next time, this is the Shadow Frequency signing off from the edge of the unknown. Good night.
This episode was conjured with a solemn vow to explore the unexplained while remaining bound to the truths that have been unearthed. All interpretations are speculative and offered only for your enlightenment and your entertainment.